you care about light, temperature, and water or humidity. That's what you care about. So therefore, that's that's where you mine. That's the business that you mine, right? For us, it can be very abstract things. On a global scale, resources like that and stuff and whatever are, that's the thing. But clearly, there's either growing number or just an infinite number of things in which we care about. Obviously because we go across different continents or whatever else and go to war for different stuff and whatever. Yeah. So things that we care about could be an iPhone, right? It could be new technology to make us younger. It could be biomedical. It could be medical. It could be psychological. It could be anything. So it's like we have such a diverse range of things in which businesses that we mind.
Yeah.
Rather than just a tree, it's very few things. And so it's hard to, in this is where we get into like the cognitive psychological territory. And I feel like it's a must. You have to consider that aspect of, if you're trying to tell an organism on a global organism to stop doing a thing or to do this or whatever else because it's better for whatever, you have to consider what that organism considers.
Yeah.
And one of those things is that I would never tell someone, hey, you should let your grandmother die, unplug her from life support because it's the power that the hospital was using is causing global damage. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ever tell someone, hey, you shouldn't, like, you're homeless. You have children that you want a future for, naturally.
Yeah.
To not build on this land where there's nowhere else to build. Build on this land. Or don't build on that land. Just be homeless. Just die. Let you and your children die. Don't do it because you're causing impact. Like on an individual level, like on a global level, yes, I get that. I support that. But you have to consider the individual level.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you just because you're breathing in the oxygen from the trees and putting out carbon dioxide, if I still remember that correctly, that you're somehow contributing to this grander, where you are contributing to this grander ecological or planetary issue, and you should stop breathing. That's crazy. You're gonna do what you need to do. That's where your attention is. So that's why I really lean, and I know there's issues with that. I'm not aware of all of them, but I know it's not a perfect framework, but I feel like there's not enough of within that framework attributing nature, and I know a lot of people aren't going to like this, but within that framework, humans like things that work and that do things for them. You look at dog breeds. Most dog breeds, we make sure that we continue to breed them healthier, better, and whatever else, because they're a working line dog, they do a thing. We need them. So it fits within our framework of, us humans need this thing. So therefore we go out of our way to make sure this thing is okay, right? So if we find more, sorry, it's a helicopter. If we find more things that can hit that nexus, like, we should keep these trees because it does this special thing, and that special thing helps keep us alive in a special way. That, and it sucks. I know because nature doesn't exist. Well, I mean, a lot of people feel that we shouldn't have to have a need for this organism, this tree, to be alive. It shouldn't have to serve our needs in order for it to justify its existence and us killing it. I agree 100%. But it's just hard, to tell somebody who needs firewood, they're dying, or they're gonna die because they're not hot, or they're not warm enough, hypothermia, to choose that tree's life over their own.
Yeah.
Because the name of the game for every organism on the planet is to reproduce. and to send on copies of yourself into the future. So I'm not against everyone else in every other aspect of conservation, but that's why I do what I do and feel the need to do what I do to help steward nature.
Yeah.
Be responsible for it. Because by being responsible and taking care of it, I also understand that my market, in which, like, I'm not a financial person, I'm not a government politician or whatever, so I can't control these things. So how can I persuade them, right?
Yeah.
And the way in which I go about it is finding a use for it, for them. I feel like it'd be very easy. Hey, your mom or your grandmother has Alzheimer's, or has dementia, or has some kind of blood autoimmune disease or whatever. Hey, it's this lizard that studies found has this natural, beautiful nature, has already solved this issue, um, that can help us create antibodies or create whatever, in some kind of way. We use it as a model for this autoimmune disease to help your grandma. But we need to preserve it. People are just killing it because they're taking the land. I feel like it'd be very easy for someone to get on board with that. Hey, why are you killing these lizards? My grandma, once again, it goes to my thing that I want.
Right.
We should preserve this thing because it serves me. And if you hit those markets, right? Or I hate to say market, but I don't want to sell nature. It's a byproduct of modernity, like we were talking about last time. Like, as we've grown more numerous across the planet, we've shifted from being a part of nature to now being responsible for nature, just because of our sheer numbers. So yeah.
So you're saying we have to keep doing research to find aspects of nature that might be personally important to more people. So when you keep discovering things that more people have a stake in or care about because of some other reason that may be unrelated, but is supported by that new discovery we make, that in turn promotes the conservation.
Yeah.
Because you bring more people with a personal stake into it.
Yeah. And when you're talking about conservation to a wide public who don't understand anything that you're talking about, because we're very niche people, it's received better.
Yeah.
Especially when it's talked about in alignment with nature, rather than just, new breakthrough in technology, new breakthrough in airplane wing technology, or new breakthrough in let's say the bullet train in some Asian country. They improved it, and it helped improve the quality of the sound. People going deaf or whatever because of the sonic boom when it breaks through the sound barrier. They got that design, that structural design, from a kingfisher, and how it has a big head with has a very big beak, and it dives into water, and so air is fluid like water, and they could cut down because it's not killing itself on impact. It doesn't suffer any kind of brain damage. Its hearing isn't impaired from doing that. So therefore, there's some kind of morphological secret to its success. And so they applied that to the bullet train, reconfigured it, mimicking that head, that bill shape, and now we don't have this freaking death metal eardrum killing train, which is better for people. But it should be talked, like, these advancements should be talked about more in tandem with nature and where they got it from,
so
or what
more of an attribution. You're saying,
yeah,
like going back to the biomimicry.
Yeah, exactly.
We're inspired by this
thing.
Mm-hmm.
They I've seen something where they have, like, where these little water bugs, they have this they breathe in two ways. They breathe from their mouth and from their butt. But from their butt, they also have, like, this little opening where, like, it's like these little three flaps that kind of, like, do this. It propels them like the little
Uh-huh.
water jet that they kind of just like, and they kind of go. Um, um, and they're looking at that and looking at heart arrhythmia or like heart issues because we have a heart valve.
Yeah.
That may be the wrong word, but you know, like the heart has these
Right.
valves and has these openings that
Mhm.
pump blood into the heart and away from the heart. And they're using that in the morphology of that from a bug that uses it for something completely different, but it's still moving fluid.
Yeah.
To help in and inspire advancements in biomedical science with people who have that issue, where they can, instead of trying to figure out how to implant something that's human made and it's just like it's not really working as well, people are still having issues, copying this thing that's very successful, and them putting that into people's hearts, or not that bug, but you know, put something that's shaped like that or that's inspired by that, and then that's helping people. So it's a lot like how, like, you know, in science it's a really big no-no, or just in general it's a big no-no to steal ideas and not cite where you got them from. People need to cite nature more.
Right.
And I started, the reason I paused is because I was thinking to myself, like, I want to say, this is what I want to say. I'm not sure if it's true, but I want to say there's very few things I feel like in our world that wasn't inspired by nature
Mhm.
in some way, shape, or form. I can see, I could see a couple of things, you know. But you know how hard it is to come up with a original idea
Yeah.
as a person. You know, it's incredibly hard because it's hard to have an original thought about something when nature has been doing these things and people have been existing way before you came. So it's like, I don't know about the facts on that, but I feel like everything can be attributed to nature. I feel like,
Yeah.
I firmly believe that nature has all of the answers